What's up, good people? What's up, beautiful audience? Nyankopon Shamo, you guys, we really love and appreciate the work you guys are doing for supporting us, for pushing this agenda. I mean, Senkamon Kahwan Kaintimin. So, as usual, I go by the name D to the CH, and I'm your host for Let's Talk Podcast _GH. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, click on the notification bell. When we drop any content, you'll be the first person to watch. Follow us on all social media platforms so that you can get every update that we bring. So, you promise mo say the PA okay say bako baha and fortunately for me, he's a brother of mine, or me and Kasemedia, but a brother from another mother, and he's very intelligent when it comes to specialize and things that relating to health and stuff. And today I want us to talk about surrogacy, right?
Yeah, surrogacy.
Good. So we're going to talk about surrogacy, and we talk deeply into it so that our viewers, our listeners, our followers will get to know what this whole thing is about, right? So let's go for a quick commercial break. When we come, I will let my guest introduce himself. You're coming. You're welcome back from the quick commercial break. Yenko na me guest enko introduce no. Senior, akwaba.
Yeah.
Bia boko. Vibe. Me hu watch it.
So when then.
Hey. Body is zero body nko.
When the system no.
Ebe fine. Sure, wanya sa ebe style. So we've been talking about this issue. I mean, ye hu be atiti bia ne ade, but we needed somebody. Sorry. Before then, introduce your viewers. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. A friend Bingabin Daniel.
Sure.
Yeah, me a physician assistant. I think for now, me St. Gregory Catholic Hospital.
Okay.
Budumbura. Yeah.
Yes. Or Akata phone. Hona. Yeah. Wa. Bibi koso kama. Wabin. And so today we're going to talk about a ben hon semene in sama befa surrogacy home. Brother man, take us through. Say cast surrogacy, what is it? Because people might have heard of that word, but they don't really know, I mean, what this whole thing is. But on this channel, I mean, on this episode, no, yemfa emfrafra brofuni twi. But most importantly, say be a man, a girls and beti asem. Yemfa twi ni ekese pa mbrem. Why? So let's roll. What is it about this whole surrogacy something?
Okay. So throughout history. Fertility issue and a mahua a very big deal for the women especially.
Okay.
Until any time they are not able to have children, it has a whole lot of effect on them.
Okay.
So mostly you have to go for all options.
Wow.
Until that's when some even go for infant and say IVF.
Okay.
For instance, in vitro fertilization. Maybe the person has an issue with now what dear.
Okay.
Into no to me and say on to me not but then there's fertilization into take place.
Wow.
Once the egg has to come from the woman.
Exactly.
Not the sperm will meet and fertilize. Then you have let's say the embryo, then it implants in the uterus. But some way somehow intimate. So those ones you go for an IVF and no obeyi kosuano now the sperm no, so outside the uterus so now start the fertilization process no ho
and no way
or they do it at the lab.
Oh, okay.
There's a special hospital for that with expertise until you fertilize it on the outside that then now the gets to a point where you need a natural womb or a natural condition for the embryo to grow. Then now you bring the we now are fertilizing outside now the aba 2 hours now then the pregnancy continues. But all these options now are available. But there are people like even with this and still they are not able to still conceive.
Hey, serious.
The person goes through all the other artificial means of getting pregnancy. And there are times too, the problem is not with but then the sperm may be getting to Kosiano. The Kosiano to me back.
But then sperm needs to go.
So that you come in with another option, which is the artificial insemination.
Yes, for that I've heard of it.
You take the sperm, process the sperm, and get it done properly. Then you insect it into the womb. One name channel. And then no be cut straight to fertilize with the egg, and no take the egg out.
Okay.
Yes, artificial insemination. You don't take the egg out. Okay. You only process the sperm outside.
And then you put it in.
You put it in, then the pregnancy continues.
Wow.
But with all these processes, there are still people who still cannot get pregnant.
Gosh.
So those people, they are left with two options. One option is to adapt, to go for adoption. Yes, to adopt a baby, not adopt.
Adopt, yeah.
So the adoption also has its own challenges, especially in some of the countries. The laws and the friends saying all available are not favorable.
And
most of the people don't even want to go through that stress. No.
Wow.
That is when, and the other people, apart from going through that stress, some also want to have a child that, or your one, because like they have their DNA in the child.
Exactly.
Well, I know your DNA correct.
I know your DNA. Or Dominica.
So it also has its own implications. So people want to have children that are biologically connected to them. That's when surrogacy come in.
Okay.
So surrogacy is when you have to go for another woman carries pregnancy for another woman or another person or another couple or who we are not the mobile mom. In simple terms, because what rent a womb no and now the obako tomb.
Okay.
And when you know what you now the call. Basically, it's backed by law and yet just straightforward, sir. So you go through the legal process, get somebody to carry pregnancy for either another woman or a couple or an individual. Now, or we are the Obama or not. Or can baby na baby.
Wow. So then that is the general overview of
what surrogacy is. Yeah.
So then let's talk about the fact say me okay. Now 1 or 2 intimi. You get it? How then do we choose this person? They have people who are specialized in it. So
okay. So just as I said earlier, depending on the problem your wife is facing, surrogacy that's the last option I will. Or last option, no. So there are people who are born without wombs.
Hey,
congenital hysterectomy.
Okay.
When you only option be what's in the mention. But some also have issues with the womb. Say just the fact so 1 year saying it doesn't help the person's health.
Sorry, say me bisa
okay.
Me chippy way in. How do they flow normally like normal women?
No, they don't have menstrual period. Say the blood should be coming from the friend is saying the uterus.
They will be they don't have it.
They don't have it. Yes, they don't have
wow.
it. Yeah. Oh, there's a patient Oba, was it 2 weeks ago? No, Otaba more often. She or no in your condition being you feel she doesn't have it. Yeah. Okay. But then the eggs are intact.
Wow.
What's in the mature?
I get it.
Exactly.
So continue.
So because it's the last option, you always want to exhaust all your options available to you. In the case where your woman has her eggs intact, the only option is to go for one of the types of surrogacy.
Okay.
So surrogacy has 2 types. The first type is the traditional one.
Okay.
And I advance a straight surrogation. And what you do is Obana, that's the surrogate mother, and no big crop pregnancy. On one X now we use to.
Wait.
So there are 2 types. First type, na traditional one. You do who you sue Obana or big crop pregnancy on one X, on one kusu as in the ovaries, on one again obey you sue. So on also you do artificial insemination. Who you sue the intended father's sperm. Now they are go through all the process, then you fertilize the on eggs, no actual pregnancy and so.
Okay.
Then the second type is the gestational or the host surrogacy. And one person will be used to surrogate mother no the eggs. That's what I say. Depending on the problem your wife or your partner, your wife, especially your wife has, you bet me your wife no kosuya. She has an issue with her womb, not necessarily with her eggs. And you bet me you kosuya, the whole sperms we fertilize it outside.
Then
that's the IVF. At for instance, in vitro fertilization.
Yeah, sure.
You're fertilizing outside, we need their surrogate mother. No, keep pregnancy, and then the pregnancy grows in the surrogate mother. Until the the two types will determine who you even want to choose or how you even want to choose the person. Now, so coming down to your question, you always work with agencies. Once a system, no, we see infertility as a curse, kind of as our mentality about infertility. Yeah, it's just on another level. Until no nimdia no shadan kwenimbo infertility. Most people you be almost sick. So most of them you see them in the hospital by the time we back crowd be refer some home specialist. None who sick across. Oh, you didn't who's na. So going to choose someone for surrogacy, always most often they work with the agencies.
Okay.
And the agencies recruit the women. Like it's a whole setup. They will screen the woman medically, make sure emotionally they are right, make sure that the chances of those women getting pregnant are high. Did they have the women there? Then there's something we call the match time. Like you come there, you select the person you want, and you give a criteria of the type of person you want to carry your pregnancy. Until on being Panama, then you have a connection with the person for some time.
Okay.
When anybody come, you want to know who is carrying your baby, who's carrying your child.
Mentally,
exactly. To get yourself prepared. And you know all those periods. No say nipa na one na kasa no. Who say and friends when you shut down the agency will give you another person.
Wow.
To so at the end of the day, the agency will help you get whoever is fit for your,
that
particular the person with your specification.
Wow.
But whatever be the case, the agency has their own criteria for all the women and all the surrogate mothers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now let's talk about we are done with the Barney Bayman. Let's talk about the woman who is going to have the baby. First of all, what are the risks of that particular surrogate mother?
Okay. So just like every other pregnancy, the risk is not because of the surrogacy, but the risk is because of the pregnancy.
So does it mean say depends me from?
Yeah, not straight up say be but then something leads to the death.
Implications be
yes. So virtually every pregnant woman is at risk of something.
Of course.
And one of the commonest you see at the hospital is hypertension. Only hypertension, only any pressure issue. But just because of the pregnancy in the uterus, the person gets high blood pressure. So usually you get it maybe after 20 weeks. 20 weeks after 5 months.
Okay.
Yes, after 5 months they start getting those high BPs. You have to find a way of controlling them.
Wow.
Yeah. So one of the major risk factors is hypertension. And not because of the surrogacy, but because the person is pregnant. And there are people they also get high blood sugars. Sugar levels high, and gestational hypertension.
Okay.
So high just because the person is pregnant. Indeed, it's not a risk factor of surrogacy, but just pregnancy. So the pregnancy, just like all other people, are has risk of getting some complications. Surrogate mother is also has the same chances of all those risk factors.
Wow.
Yeah. So. And yes, surrogacy, but then the pregnancy.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, that's nice. Why educate your power? Now let's talk about in your submission. Okay, say traditional surrogacy. Yeah. Say mama na kasan X.
Yes. Surrogate mother no X.
So if it happens this way, who's the legal mother of that child?
Okay. So surrogacy, for instance, I think we can narrow it down to Ghana.
Yes.
Surrogacy. So let me even forget. Let's not forget. And yet infertility women say yanom for squaddy. Also your mom with you.
Don't forget.
Because of a quine on my first also almost go pay with okura mom. But then the friends in section 20 of the Ghana's registration of death and birth Act 2020 provides the friends intended parents, it provides you to the opportunity to sign a pre-birth parental order. Meaning
say a legal Ghana.
Yes.
Okay.
It is that Act section 22 of the Ghana's registration of birth and death Act 2020 provides that legal means.
Okay.
You sign the documents even before the for instance surrogate mother gives birth.
Wow.
So the agency often has all this in place.
Wow.
You go through all these legal means because without the legal means, you know,
exactly. Who is there?
Exactly. When you sign the order, that's a pre-birth parental order, pre-parenthood order or something.
Okay.
After signing all those orders, the court is aware, say, as soon as
okay,
and as soon as he's carrying my let's say a baby for me or what, just take your baby. So in Ghana, I think it started somewhere around 2017. Most of the people who came to patronize this surrogacy in Ghana, US, Germany, and then Nigerians, you know. Yeah, they came because the Western world, one of the things, I thought I never boarding.
I just say enya dey that form.
Enya dey that form. Enya straightforward sao. Complicated. And you know most of them prefer. Also Ghana no, your laws sometimes it's very transparent. Not sometimes. Your laws quite transparent. Mudaho. Njombe just deal with the agency, get the process done. Abukwa kwatena na ba bi kra time so an. Oba na obeje ne bana. The law also permits you be akola no ho nkrata na what they no call back. So most of the people, there's a strict law helping people. And yes, I think
roughly, how much do you think they take?
So the last time I checked, depending on the process.
Okay.
So another question that say, so if you're going to use the surrogate mother's eggs instead of artificial insemination, I don't know my bema and on you can say
and I tell for your boy because you be there.
Yeah.
And also
because I cost also, but you can't term it friends surrogacy.
And then I can say, no,
so what? This is the reason.
Tell us.
Artificial insemination. Sometimes, not sometimes. Let's say sometimes you do it multiple times. And yes, we are straightforward and now foul. Which my I say. The question is, and no for no, I'm a friend is saying specialist by Kokasa. And like I say, on the average, sometimes almost for instance, with the egg from a different mother, and I'm mobile IVF now. Yeah, almost to store by 12 eggs. Almost preserve 12 eggs. We say then the next one, and the next one, then the next one. In the Okasa one in Obane da. One in the Dana Yensena ma. Chesa one in the Basan. I said Chesa one in the Basan debut. Yeah. So maybe you can say that. Maybe you can go for. Maybe we can term in some contracts. A friend is saying contract something. I be only Obana call into contract to do that. But then you can say surrogacy. Surrogacy is strictly the artificial insemination for the traditional one. Then the IVF for the gestational one. So I think you asked about the cost.
Yes, please.
The last time I checked, some of the agencies take between $25,000 to let's say $58,000.
20 what?
$25,000
in Ghana here.
In Ghana here to $58,000.
Begin to speak in tons.
Yeah, but then run my boss catch him, Dr. Samuel Akutia.
Okay.
I think the ONG specialist or Kentampo.
Okay, big shout out, doctor.
Yeah. No, or Kwame Dance, but say things about Kentampo.
Okay.
Yeah, no, can say on there are companies that you can get around $10,000. And now forms are when you imagine here for you. Share. Oh,
after you are done, I'll give you a story so you get to know what's
So within that $25,000 to $58,000, surrogate mother no close to $50,000 to $120,000. And when you pay now, can say, what did just an so
no, because of the you know the amount they gave her 20,000.
Yeah, agency no. Yeah, that's a share cry. So the last time I checked, that's a friend is saying it should be between 50,000 to 120,000. No, they are saying wait, Charlie. We call a friend saying within 10 years.
No, wait, sa nipana or no or consider crano. They are supposed to give him or I mean her that 20,000 or
she's entitled to 50 to 120,000. The last I think I'm going to check here.
But this one that make she took. I mean, or say they gave her 20,000.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Cities.
No, it's
200 million.
Yes, so the 50,000 is 50,000 Ghana cedis, please.
But on only the woman,
and she's supposed to get between 50,000 to 120,000 because of the process. You say, for instance, utia amount to be an agency instance. And I say it me fail, you know. If you number, you pay a certain amount, but then you pay less.
Okay.
You pay less as compared to when the whole process was starting up. Okay. but surrogate mother now we use no. We say it's kind of tough and just small issues.
Yeah, but I think say with me madam for no story no, she has been cheated.
Me so be at share now we both no be at no cra obi cra your linking no cra ten share middleman be because before you even get questions how do you even get to know
that is the issue. I wanted to ask her say how did you get to know these people? Then who
yeah. Because say can earlier on no, your system no doesn't still understand these things.
Okay.
You know, for instance, o ka che una na se o me kwanyema mo obi na
atamni asotro bi ebebo
wasema wo bete ne won brand is
to me wa mo wanga
asema ye be ka chere won wa hwe ye be pumpo
wow
yeah ye be ka so friends o maka so de akona ko gudi sika
unye serious
ye ka so de akona ko gudi sika do o ye na o de akona ko gudi sika do
utiri so san ye begu
exactly so enya de a ye common sa until sometimes say obi atete middleman be atete o mo share yeah, now I understand.
So with this, the surrogate mother, no,
yeah,
emotionally, how does she deals with it? After say, what would you say? You've gone through this whole process of pregnancy, vomiting, what. Chim awakran. Utigra nye nebe CSR. Yeah. After all these things, emotionally, now she said, let me give you a scenario. To say, wow back pay.
Yeah.
Now the next hour for woman will be no one your twins are. Emotionally, how do they take it?
So the agencies have all this. They have all these things put in place.
Okay.
Psychologists, everything, knowing how difficult it is. But then that's when because looking up to Jesus, who is the author and the finisher of your faith.
Yeah, sure.
So sometimes because of scanner that you are emotionally prepared. Because friends when you pay, people make what the 10,000 a show. Like emotionally for the surrogate mothers, they kind of you should have a certain mental toughness to be able to go through that.
Because you had
yes, because for in ANC, because over ANC, we advise you to be on your man. The moment the child starts kicking and quickening, let's say after 16 weeks, bare 4 months, you should be talking to the child. Or don't have a 2 year from so it's like they have some connection with the child.
Yeah.
And imagine say you go through all this, then we are na akwalana when na bonde kakrano, just give the child to another person. It's kind of tough, but then the psychologist will yes. So most of how much time now it takes somewhere even 3 or 4 months I feel now prepare to make sure that you are mentally ready to go through that process. Got 9 months of pregnancy, knowing say I didn't okay. And you know, psychologists they will what do you call it? Advise you, keep you in check. And then now ni pay dia okay. Yeah, what baby? What's a dime back?
Also in team P.
Yes, you have a nurse available, you have a chef, you have this available, you have everyone available to support you. And yes, it will have been tough. Imagine this only okay, you work for
you'll be depressed.
Most people because be maybe our shampoo.
Yeah, be quiet one now.
Just be a nipper 1 or 2 be in baby just for security reasons. I said that obi any baby, so you need all these people, doctors, psychologists, all part of the agency to support you in all the friends in this period. Oh, and yes, I be because mentally the person is not really sound. Even it may affect pregnancy,
Okay.
Yeah, so emotionally they are prepared for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell our viewers, especially young man.
Yeah.
I mean, is it okay for them to do it? Is it okay
for them to do the
for them? Yes, please. Because I learned that girls are really into it these days.
Yeah.
And most people too don't know the risk, the back and forth and it.
So surrogacy. So speaking from emotional point of view, you can say it's just your way of helping another woman.
Okay. A woman helping a woman.
A woman. So you just have that. Abadayeno. So me yonko. But ya no for there. Omo den why choose no. So obi say Cristiano Ronaldo. Ne omo reason wasn't say bia ne wife into then the first child no crowd was through a friend saying surrogacy.
Okay.
The firstborn Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. was through surrogacy. I think the current girlfriend was Rodriguez, Georgina Rodriguez and her friend is simple. Ne or twins be almost a true surrogacy no. One times the lady
Only time.
Only time. And pregnancy also changes your body so much. Say, be aware some the body no like nisika na koko na
the body
no hair through some fashion, some
exactly.
Friends, a model business be. And in the time I'll be where because getting back into your normal body, it is a whole lot of stress. When you're prepared to go through that, you know, let me just make the money with my body, with my
give it out, and then
just get somebody to do it for me. So, ladies, if you want to go into it, there you have to really be healthy. The anum for ya any gentina wa friend is one no be na one how the agency no cry consider because most agency one of the first criteria they use almost share you have to have a healthy lifestyle. The most they go send na make no they will go for somebody obi a infants wa woda like your chance of being selected no cry no higher.
Okay,
say yeah sure your chances of succeeding
through
you start the process now be succeeding in carrying the pregnancy higher and also more the agencies will be under the criteria. So the agencies choose between 22 to 35
years.
Wow. With the women do you have to have a healthy lifestyle now because your system accept it most of these agencies they hide in operation but then you can just go online, just go Surrogacy in Ghana, you get some of the websites, pick numbers, call them. Yes, you get them.
So one way or the other, and it's a form of cashing out.
It's a form of cashing out. I don't see I don't see anything wrong with it. Yeah.
Well then, so
I don't see anything wrong with
there you have it. We don't see anything wrong with it. And then watch it. You know, my clear. We said it and we've done it. Like I said, the Dr. Panini Eba has said, your PA, your specialist, our name normally be for health, and when it comes to stuff, and he'll be coming more often on this show. We talk about health issues and other stuffs too. So there you have it. Bingabin Daniel, my brother. But that's a sell by show, no. So that's it. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. I go by the name D2RCH, and I'm your host for Let's Talk Podcast. Click on the notification bell when we drop any content. You'll be the first person to watch. Peace out.